Have you ever felt discouraged after a disappointment? As if that failed date was your last chance? It's as if a door has closed and the key is gone. I know, that feeling weighs heavily. It's not easy to open your heart again after someone hurts you or after you've placed so much hope in someone who doesn't reciprocate. Sometimes it feels like you lose a piece of your trust, not just in others, but also in yourself. It's as if you start to doubt your own worth, your own ability to be happy. And it hurts. I know because I've felt it. And you're not alone. Many people go through this, and it doesn't matter if you're 30, 60, or 80. No one likes to feel rejected, deceived, or left out. But I'm also here to remind you of something very important. Even after a disappointment, life still has good encounters in store for you. But these encounters don't happen when we close ourselves off. They only happen when we decide, even when hurt, to keep our hearts open. And that doesn't mean rushing out to find someone. It's not that. It's much more about not locking yourself up inside. It's about leaving a window open for life to enter. So today, I wanted to talk to you about this, about how not to close yourself off, even after disappointment. You know, I remember a lady I met in the square near my house. She must have been around 70, with very white hair, but with lively, luminous eyes. She always sat on the same bench, reading her book, well-groomed and smelling of a light perfume. One day, I struck up a conversation. She told me she'd been widowed almost 20 years ago. She said that after that, she tried to open herself up to new people, but it didn't work out. She was badly disappointed twice. Once, with a man who only wanted to take advantage of her. Another time, with a man who promised the world and more, but simply disappeared after a few months. She cried a lot. And do you know what she told me? That after the second disappointment, she spent years afraid of meeting anyone. Years! She even believed that maybe it wasn't worth trying anymore. And then she looked at me with those wise eyes and said, "But life is stubborn, my daughter. Life doesn't give up on us even when we give up on it." And she told me that, by chance, she met a man at the neighborhood book club. He wasn't perfect. He had quirks. He was stubborn, a bit grumpy at times, but he was kind, considerate, and above all, he respected her. They'd been together for almost a year now. She laughed softly and said, "I'm glad I didn't lock that door completely, because if I had, I never would have realized there was still room for so much good in here." I never forgot that conversation, because it taught me something fundamental. Wounds heal when we take care of them, but if we don't take care of them and just put a padlock over them, they stay there, open, festering. The heart is the same. If you only lock it up after a fall just because it hurt too much, it won't heal. It stays inside, full of hurt, of fear. And this undermines your joy, your confidence. I know, it's not simple. No one wakes up overnight and says, "Okay, I'm ready to be happy again." It doesn't work that way, because disappointments leave scars. We become suspicious, a little wary, and that's okay. That's part of it. What you can't do is let it become such a heavy armor that you can't feel anything good anymore. Have you ever seen how some people are so worried about not getting hurt again that they end up not letting anyone get close? Sometimes they even say, "Oh, I'm fine on my own. I don't need anyone." But deep down, the truth is different. Deep down, they're incredibly afraid of being disappointed again. So, to avoid the risk, they hide behind this excuse. But that's not real living, do you agree? It's like staying in a house with all the windows closed. You might avoid the rain, but you also don't see the sun anymore. And do you know what's worse? When we close ourselves off too much, we lose sight of how capable we are. We forget that life isn't just about bad endings. Life also has new beginnings. And often, the new beginning is even more beautiful than what we lost. A friend of mine who had gone through a very painful divorce once told me, "I'll never love anyone again." Why? Just to suffer again? He kept repeating this to himself for years, until one day he met a girl at the market. She sold fruit. He bought apples every week just to see her. And one day he summoned the courage to ask her out for coffee. They've been together for years now. And he told me, loving again doesn't erase what I suffered before, but it reminds me that it was worth not giving up on myself. I really like this quote of his, "Don't give up on me." Because in the end, when we decide to lock our hearts away for fear of suffering, that's what we're doing. Giving up on ourselves, on our right to be happy, on our right to dream.
So I really want you to ask yourself right now, do you really want to spend the rest of your life locked inside? Or is there still a corner of your heart begging for a second chance? Because it doesn't matter how old you are or how many times you've been hurt. What matters is what you'll do with what you still have inside. And look, there's no need to rush. There's no need to desperately go looking for someone. That's not what I'm talking about. It's just about taking one step at a time. First, taking care of yourself, remembering your worth, regaining your confidence. Because only when you feel good about yourself can you truly welcome someone into your life. And you know what? When you decide to take care of yourself and stay open to life, good things eventually find their way to you. It might not be tomorrow, it might take a while, but they come. Because life is like that. It gives back to us what we give to it. If you give back resentment, it gives back loneliness. If you give back fear, it gives back more reasons to hide. But if you give back courage, even if small, even if timid, it gives back hope. And hope is the first step toward any new encounter. So take a deep breath. Feel deep inside what you want for yourself and start slowly, like opening a window, a crack, just to see if the sun is still shining outside. Because I promise you, the sun is always there, just waiting for you to decide to look at it again. You know, as we talk here, I keep thinking about how many beautiful stories could have happened, but didn't, just because someone gave up too soon. How many people stopped meeting because they were stuck in fear of what happened, looking back instead of looking forward? That's a shame, isn't it? Because deep down we know the past can't be changed, but the future? Oh, the future is still entirely in our hands. It's still open, waiting for us to choose what to do with it. And I know, when life sets us back, it seems like everything falls apart. It seems like we look at things differently, as if every new person we meet is another threat, as if no one deserves our trust anymore. But let me tell you something I've learned. Not everyone is the same. Just because someone wronged you doesn't mean everyone else will too. Every encounter is unique. Every person is different. And you're no longer the same either. You already know what you want. You already know what you won't accept anymore. That's not weakness. It's strength. I met a man named Mr. Manuel, a very charismatic man, always smiling. He once told me, "I've taken so many tumbles in life, girl, that people ask me how I still smile so much." And he replied, "It's because I know that if I close my face, I also close the doors to good things." That phrase of his echoed within me for days. He was right. Closing your face, your heart, doesn't protect you from pain. It only protects you from joy. Sometimes we feel like we don't deserve to be happy anymore, or that it's too late to start over. But look, have you ever noticed how nature constantly teaches us about new beginnings? Every year, trees lose their leaves. They sit there, dry, empty. But when the right season arrives, they bloom again. It's the same with us. Wounds need their time. But when you least expect it, a new bud is already sprouting. You just need to allow yourself to be like the tree, firm, but ready to bloom again. And to do that, it's important to remember one thing. You don't have to be ready to open up to new people. This idea that we can only try again when we're completely healed, without any fear, without any insecurity, that doesn't exist. We're never 100% ready. There will always be a little part that still hurts, a memory that bothers us, and that's okay. What matters is not letting it dominate you to the point where you don't try anything else. You know what really helps? Start slowly, one step at a time. You don't have to go looking for a relationship right away. Sometimes just leaving the house is a start. Going to a conversation circle, a senior's dance, a walking group, making friends with someone from the neighborhood, someone you pass every day, a light conversation, a shared coffee, a laugh. It's these little things that warm your heart again, that show you that there are still good people out there. And I'll tell you something, people notice when we're open to life. It's like a different sparkle in our eyes, you know? When we carry only distrust, only hurt, it shows on our faces. But when we open up even a little space for hope, people feel it, and that attracts more good people around. Just the other day, I witnessed a beautiful scene at a grocery store. A lady in line dropped a package on the floor. A man behind her bent down, picked it up, and said with a smile, "There, I couldn't let you lose your favorite cookie." She laughed, thanked him, and the two chatted for a few minutes.
It may seem silly, but perhaps it was the beginning of something for them. Because sometimes all it takes is being willing to exchange a smile for life to find a way to surprise you. And I know that after a big disappointment, you feel like building a wall so high no one can get through. It seems like it will protect us. But I'll tell you a secret. No wall truly protects, because loneliness ends up creeping in through the cracks anyway. And what was supposed to be protection becomes a prison. That's why I insist. Be easy on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. No one expects you to forget what happened overnight, but don't dwell on it either. Remember that every person who crosses your path has nothing to do with who hurt you before. Everyone deserves the chance to be known for who they truly are, not for what someone in your past did. And there's another thing. When we close ourselves off too much, we end up forgetting what we really want. We start living on autopilot, unaware that there's still so much to dream about. You can still dream. You can long for someone to accompany you on a walk, to listen to your stories, to make you laugh. And wanting this isn't weakness. It's not neediness. It's just human. We all want someone to share our lives with, even if it's just a small part of it. I like to remember a story about a couple I met on a trip. She was 65, he was 70. They had met on a trip to the countryside. She told me she almost didn't go because she thought no one else would notice her. But she decided to go anyway, just for a change of scenery. And get this, that's where they met. They'd been together for 2 years. She said it was the best decision of her life, simply because she decided to give herself another chance. So, my friend, what are you waiting for? No one will knock on your door bringing happiness on a platter. But it can appear in the bank line, at the town dance, in the park, at the market. But for that to happen, you need to be willing to smile, to exchange a word, to open a little space in your heart. Just a little space is enough to let the light in again. And don't forget, you deserve it. You deserve to be treated well. You deserve someone who respects you, admires you, and makes you feel special. Don't settle for anything less. Because when you understand your worth, you stop fearing what's already happened and start believing in what's yet to come. And look, you can be sure of one thing. As long as we're breathing, life is always ready to offer us new encounters. We just need to have the courage to look around and keep our hearts open. You know, as I think about everything we've talked about so far, I wonder how much life still fits inside you. Because you still have so much to give, to feel, to live. And sometimes we forget that. We get used to the scars, the pain, and think that's all we have left. But it's not. Pain is part of the story, yes. It teaches us, but it's not the end of this story. It's just a chapter. You still have entire pages to write. And only you can decide what kind of story you'll tell from now on. I know, it's easier said than done. Sometimes it feels like you lack energy, that you lack courage. But let me tell you something I've learned from watching so many people start over, even after terrible falls. The flame never goes out. It may be weak, almost invisible, but it's still there inside you, just waiting for a breath to shine again. And this breath begins with small gestures, with the decision to get out of bed in the morning and fix your hair, to put on a nice outfit, even if you're not going anywhere today, to walk to the corner just to get some air, to stop and chat with someone at the bakery, to smile, even if it's shy at first.
Each of these small actions is like a match that reignites your inner flame. And little by little, you'll remember who you are. You'll remember how much you deserve good things, good encounters, people who know how to truly see you. Because you deserve this no matter what you've been through. You deserve a peaceful love, a pleasant companion, someone who holds your hand and makes you feel like you're still worth believing in. The other day, I heard a lady say something that gave me goosebumps. At 60, we don't need fireworks, just a hug to warm our hearts. I thought it was beautiful, because that's it. It's not about finding someone perfect, someone who will never hurt you. That doesn't exist. It's about finding someone worthwhile, someone who wants to walk beside you just as you are, without games, without lies. And that only appears when you allow yourself to be open. And look, it might happen again that someone disappoints you. That's part of the risk of living. But every time you try, you become stronger. Every time you choose to believe again, you prove to yourself that you are greater than fear. And there is no greater victory than that. So, my dear,
What I really wanted to leave you with today is this reminder. You are not alone. There are so many people in this world, just like you, waiting for someone to look them in the eye and truly see. Who wants to share a coffee, a rainy afternoon, an old song? Who laughs along with your stories and holds your hand when you need it? And for these people to find you, you need to show up. You need to have the door at least ajar. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that life never stops giving us new chances. We just have to have the courage to accept them. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, or 80. There's still time. There's always time. Time to be enchanted again, to laugh again, to dream again. While you're here, breathing, there's life. And where there's life, there are encounters waiting for you. So I wanted to ask you something right now. Take a deep breath. Think about yourself, deep down, and promise yourself, I won't shut myself down. I won't let the flame go out. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be treated well, well-loved, well cared for. I don't need to settle for less, nor give up on myself. Because I still have a lot of light to light, and there are still many people out there who want to share that light with me. And if this conversation resonated with you, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story, how you feel, and if you've ever experienced something similar or are trying to start over now. Right below. And if you know someone who needs to hear this today, send this video to them too. Sometimes a kind word makes more of a difference than we imagine. And before I say goodbye, I want to leave one last thing in your heart. Don't be afraid to be happy. Don't be afraid to believe again. You didn't come here to live alone in a corner, hidden from joy. You came to share, to feel, to love. Even with the falls, even with the wounds. Because each new attempt is also a new chance to be stronger, wiser, more whole. Life after 60 can still be full of energy, choices, and joy. It's up to you to open the door and let it in. Because the flame is there, inside, glowing low, waiting just for a breath of courage to ignite everything again. So go ahead, smile at life. It still has a lot in store for you.